on Tennessee, they passed a bill banning pride flags from being displayed in classrooms. So all those TikTok videos you've seen of teachers having Black Lives Matter and the pride flag and trans flag and all that stuff, no more of in Tennessee, which is fantastic. And it's funny, even SCNR here puts it as banning pride flags, just because obviously that makes for the better headline. It really just bans, and it has it down here. The bill does not specifically mention pride flags, but prohibits school staff and teachers from displaying flags other than the United States, Tennessee, or official school flags. It explicitly prohibits displaying flags that represent any political viewpoint, including but not limited to a partisan, racial, sexual orientation, gender, or ideological viewpoint. So really, it's banning any.
They did it just like the Florida bill. The
Yes.
Florida bill nowhere said don't say gay. This bill in no way says no pride flags. They just
Now, I will say this
for the cloud.
this site's actually a pretty good right wing site, so I'll give them a pass with it a little bit. But oh yeah, Cassandra McDonald. Do you follow her on X at all?
I don't, but that's interesting. So I thought I followed everybody that I should be following.
So she's a little crazy. I mean, she has a pet monkey, so that should tell you something. She's definitely a little out there, and I think she sides with Palestine a little bit too. But she's like straight up isolationism. Just we should not be involved anywhere whatsoever. So, okay. I do like a lot of her articles at least, but yeah, Tennessee actually made it so no pride flags, no more Black Lives Matter flags, no more just any political flags whatsoever. The only flags you can have is the American flag, the Tennessee flag, or the school flag, and that is it. Which, frankly, I don't know how that's not just a standard rule for most schools in the first place. Now,
Well, I mean, obviously, it's becoming the state religion, and so there was a separation of church and state argument to be made for some of these usages of flags in the classroom.
separation of church and state's a bunch of BS. Thomas Jefferson said it one time, and then that's.
It was a very important letter, though, that it was found in. It was a really important letter.
Yeah, a letter that was talking about more of the establishing a church of America, but but no. So I mean, it makes sense to a wide degree, right? That you should only have that. Now, I do think there should be some leeway. Like, I think our school had a bunch of pirate flags up because obviously, we were on the coastline, so pirates. We learned about pirates like in third grade. I think it was like third or fourth grade. We learned about Blackbeard and a couple other pirates that kind of are along our coastline. I remember learning about like the gentleman pirate that went down over like in South Carolina. Really cool story about him. That's one you should definitely look up. The gentleman pirate. That's a good story. But pirate flags in our school that should be allowed. Another thing here is they probably won't allow things like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, right? Even though that has a lot of historical importance in America. So my only problem with some of these laws is they should probably give some wiggle room when it comes to anything of historical importance based around the country, or give some exceptions out to that, because I want to see "Don't Tread on Me" flags in American schools. They say the Betsy Ross flag is, a political flag these days that represents slavery. Remember, Nike had to get rid of their Betsy Ross flag shoes when they rolled them out. So, you won't have, they might tell you can't have a Betsy Ross flag now. I don't know. But I will say the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. And it's at least good to see at least one state out there doing something about it when it comes to this. I think, again, Florida did some really good stuff as well, but it's good to see other states stepping up here.
Yeah, a good come and take it flag is always acceptable anywhere.
See, every Texas school should have that. As well as they remember the Alamo flag. Obviously, you can't take that away from them. What a small, inconsequential battle, but makes for one hell of a rallying cry.
Yeah, and just the collection of unique individuals that wound up at that little that little mission in the middle of nowhere. But that's a whole nother story that we could get into.
That's the
I mean,
problem.
can you imagine? Can you imagine that? I mean, John Wayne died there. It's got to be of importance.
I forgot which character did he play.
Come on, he's Davy Crockett.
Was he Davy Crockett? Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Of course.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. It's been a long time. Sure, I think I watched it in elementary school of all things. We were learning about the Alamo, and they played that for us.
That movie was his passion. He bankrolled the whole thing. He didn't want to play the role, but they wouldn't bankroll it unless he agreed to play the role. And
Oh, wait,
so
that movie was his passion? I thought Genghis Khan was his passion.
no, that was his biggest mistake in his acting career.
Well, it wound up being a mistake that killed him. Don't forget, because they recorded it where they dropped the nukes, and so it probably led to, a lot of the issues he had later on.
Well, there was also some smoking stuff.
I'll still say this before we get off here. When we went over to LA and saw John Wayne's, handprints and feet prints, all stuff, that dude had some small feet. He was a small dude. He was wearing like a size 6.
See, he was he was a tall guy though, so at least he didn't have to wear the lifts. Um, like my favorite candidate was wearing that you made fun of. But I was watching a training video today, and the guy was he's kind of a shorter guy, but he was working the stage like good speakers do and going back and forth. But he's a younger guy. He's wearing skinny jeans and the exact same lifted boots that DeSantis was wearing. And the entire time I was completely distracted from what I needed to be learning from watching this guy. And so I actually looked at your mom. I was like, hey, is it just me or are those shoes really distracting? So now I kind of feel a little bit more on the side of, okay, that was a problem, but DeSantis still should be our president. That was a huge mistake.
I'll make sure I put that in a short. That way you can get all the hate comments like you normally do.